Hi everybody, it's Jen from Jen Stamps. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I'm doing some thank you cards, and I decided to use the Celebrate Sunflowers stamp set, and you can purchase this as a bundle with dies, and this is the stamp set. These are the dies. Basically, there are dies that coordinate with the flowers, the leaves. There's also some nice sprigs if you want to have some more greenery behind your flowers. And there's this really nice detailed sunflower die with the leaf. I have a sample just of it cut out in black cardstock so you can see what that looks like. It's a really neat element to even be used by itself, or you can layer it with the stamped images behind it. This will be available in the new annual catalog that is launching on Wednesday, June 3rd. That's when customers will be able to order out of it. I received my product in my pre-order to highlight some of our new stamp sets and supplies. So let's get started. I'll show you what cards we're doing today. My thank you cards, they were kind of a color study of our new in colors. Stampin' Up! Comes out with new colors each year and cute names for all of them. And the new 5 in colors this year are Cinnamon Cider, Just Jade, Bumblebee, Magenta Madness. Oh, excuse me. This is Misty Moonlight. So you have a blue, a green, kind of brown. It really does look like cinnamon. And this nice yellow, and the magenta is very bright. I'm not sure if the camera shows exactly what the colors look like, but they're really nice. They're really different than what we currently have. So with my cards, I cut out using, these are the stitched shapes dies, and I cut using the second to smallest square. I did squares of all the colors, and I kind of did this pop art style, and then I stamped the sunflower just using Memento black ink, used the die, cut it out on Whisper White, and did a Whisper White thick card base, and of course stamped on the inside the smaller stamp of the sunflower. But the sunflower stamp is so graphic and nice and detailed. It looks great in black and white. It also looks really great using colored pencils, Stampin' blends, if you feel like coloring it in. But with these, I decided to highlight the colors of the papers more. So we'll put one together right now. So to start, my card base is 4 1/4 by 11 inches long and scored at 5 1/2. And this is done on Whisper White Thick. If you're using white as a card base, we carry just Whisper White cardstock, and we carry Whisper White Thick. Whisper White Thick gives you a better card base. It's thicker, just like the name. So the first thing we're going to do is we will bring in our cardstock and think about how we're going to arrange this. I actually glued my pieces together before I stamped on this card. I just found it easier. I kind of think, not sure how I want to arrange this one. kind of like the yellow. That looks good. I'm going to use Tombow glue to adhere my squares. My base square here, or rectangle, excuse me, was using the stitched rectangle dies. These are going to retire. I believe there are still stitched rectangle dies in the new catalog, but you can still purchase these up until June 3rd, the exact set that I have. Or if you don't have stitched dies, you could certainly just cut your cardstock in these measurements. Basically a 3 3/4 by 5 this direction, and these stitched squares are approximately 2 inches square. So we'll put our squares together. This kind of reminds me of Andy Warhol pop art. It really lends to making the black and white stand out. I will bring in a piece of black cardstock to put another layer, another dimension behind the pink, which will just kind of make it really stand out even more. I'm pretty much eyeballing my squares as I'm getting them on the paper here, and my Tombow gives you still a little bit of movement, and so if you need to move them around to make them straight, you have a couple seconds to do that. And when I apply my Tombow, I do not apply to the edge. I go about 1/4 inch in, because you don't want it squirting out the sides. It will make a mess. It does dry clear, but it would show as a shiny spot on the front of your card. You obviously want just a nice even layer, not too much, not too little. If you have too much glue, it will make your card warp. So at this point, we have our squares glued down on our pink layer. The next thing we're going to do is bring in the Thanks a Bunch stamp from the stamp set and our Memento ink. And we're going to ink that up. This particular set is done on red rubber, and it has cushion to the stamp already, so you don't really have to worry about having a base layer behind it when you stamp it. You get a really good image because it has this cush to it. And the stamp set also comes with stickers, so if you want to apply them, some people do not. Once you put the sticker down on the stamp, you cannot peel it back off. So if you don't get the sticker on right the first time, it might bother you if it's crooked on your stamp. If I wasn't doing a video, I possibly would have left the stickers off, but I wanted you to be able to see the image. So the next step, we're going to stamp our large sunflower. And I kind of think you could also use your Stamparatus with this one, but I found just using a block, I got really nice ink coverage. Again, it's a very detailed stamp. I want to make sure I have plenty of ink on it. I'm just going to get it on there. Hold it down for a few seconds so your paper can soak up the ink. And there's our image. It's a good stamped image of the sunflower. Next step, we're gonna go and we will use the die, this die, to cut out. And what I found with these dies, in an image that's large like this, a flower, I put a piece of washi tape, what I feel is the top of this sunflower. I just keep this washi tape on it so that every time I go over to the Big Shot to die cut this, I'm not twirling, trying to figure out how the die goes on it. So as you can see, that is about the top of it. So, the magic of television, I already have my die cut sunflower. There we are. And I have my black layer that we're going to mount the pink layer on. And this layer is cut just 1/8 of an inch larger than the pink layer. So we just have a real hint of black. So let's glue this on first. And then we'll apply this onto our card front. But I love using Tombow glue. It lets you get really straight with your pieces. Snail is great also, but you really have to be right the first time. There are tricks with peeling snail up if you need to. I had a little bit of glue squirt out at the bottom there. A little heavy-handed. Here's our card base. We're going to fold that, use our bone folder, and burnish that so we have a nice flat card. And we're going to glue down our card front. And there we go. Now with the sunflower, we can either glue it down flat or we could pop it up with dimensionals. And I think with this one, I'm going to pop it up with dimensionals to give it just another dimension. And if you're sending these through the mail, this card has a few layers to it. It may require 2 stamps, just a warning. When you put that many layers on a card, it's heavier, and with the dimensionals, it'll be thicker. If you want to check that, you can always weigh it on a postage meter, scale. But more than likely, with this many layers, I would guess it's a 2 stamp card. And that's about centered. And there we go. The last step, I'm going to stamp our smaller sunflower on the inside of the card. We're going to leave it black and white though, because I just think it stands alone. It's a nice detailed stamp. And there it is. So thank you for watching my video today. I'll show you the difference between a popped up image and a glued down image of that. It's not a lot. If you saw it in person, I think you'd see the shadowing a little more. Again, I'm jenstamps.stampinup.net. That's my website on the Stampin' Up site. If you do not have a catalog and you would like a catalog mailed to you, here's the front of our new catalog. I'd be happy to mail you one. Go ahead and message me. And also starting on Wednesday, June 3rd, you have access. You can even look at the catalog online as a PDF document. So thank you for watching. I hope you learned something, and I hope you like the new Stampin' Up! In colors. Take care. Thanks, everybody.